Pause,
This line.
pause, silence. No, I don't want people talking right now.
Please.
I want you talking, nobody else.
My God.
Oh, I see the X Twitter. It's up,
Okay.
which is not my usual
No.
schmiggy.
Is LinkedIn live?
What about Facebook?
I have to go back to Facebook to see.
Brent's usually the one who can see LinkedIn first.
Yeah, well, a lot of things ain't working like they are.
Yeah, it's live on LinkedIn. It is.
Okay, thanks.
It's live on Facebook.
Okay, let's please give me a lead in so I can get started here.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Do Steve. Okay. Mute is off. We're about to start the Gillmor gang. Hope you streaming people are tuning in.
2.
Mute is off, and we're gonna go in 3, 2, 1, and
Hi, Steve Gillmor here. This is the Gillmor gang. Joining us from the state of confusion, otherwise known as what is that name of that state?
Georgia.
Georgia. Is Brent Leary. Welcome, Brent.
Thank you. And good night.
No, that's not enough.
No, that's
Brent.
Walter Cronkite, not Brent.
Have a good night.
Show us the hat. Show us the hat. Oh,
It's
Okay.
a brand new hat, actually.
I was gonna say we've never seen that one.
Okay, joining us from the state of Palo Alto is Keith Cheer.
Be here in sunny Palo Alto on this fine day when Manchester United will be playing in Brent's Stadium in Atlanta.
They're making a big deal out of that too, by the way.
Yeah.
As well, they should.
And in the state of London is Frank Radis.
Gang stirs. Hello, folks.
And what else?
Let's see. The Smithsonian did a taco.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
We'll have to talk. We'll have to talk about that.
Chicken.
Well, we'll get into that. That'll be part of the conversation. But it was definitely a taco. But it was the Smithsonian, so it's more like a saco.
I'm not sure I understand, but
Well,
we'll have to wait until
yes, we will.
Your thought.
Yes, we will.
From my right side is our producer and director Tina Chase Gillmor.
Hi, everybody. Glad we're all here together again. It's been a minute, and I'm glad to see you all. Let's get on.
Okay, Frank, go ahead.
So one of the more fun stories of the past few days, because every single day feels like a week now in Trump world, was the Smithsonian taking out any mention of the 2 impeachments from their display about presidential impeachments, the 2 just of Trump. So all the others, the other 3, I guess, were there, but not Trump. And of course, that made a whole lot of people angry. And today they did what Trump would do during the whole tariff affair, which was Trump always chickens out, taco. I say Sacco. The Smithsonian always chickens out. But they put it back in today, which was interesting because I wonder who and what pressure other than the public could have made them do that, and then he paved paradise and put in a parking lot. I'm sure you know that song. He took the whole rose garden that was Jackie's thing, tore it out and paved it so that he could have a big parking lot there in front of the
big yellow taxi showed up, I think.
And yeah, that would have been great right there behind the White House. And that's just two of the wacky things that are not as important as the other things. Like probably the most important, which is what might be happening in Texas with the gerrymandering, which drives me absolutely crazy. And you know, if they do that, I heard today that the only way that it could be stopped is if all the Democrats leave. And if they leave, they'll all be fined, or they could even be arrested. And there's um, uh, uh, this big thing going on to try and gather money to help support the Democrats so that they do leave, so that there can be no quorum, so that they can't vote to gerrymander the state of Texas. And I
Very
suppose,
democratic.
yeah, and well, and then
Not.
of course there's what Gavin Newsom is talking about doing, which is evening the stakes by doing the same thing in California. It's just crazy what's going on. I'm just, honest to God, it's so hard for me to get up in the morning and look at the 100 or 200 emails that I have, half of which are all about the taco. Anyway, there you go. That's the beginning of my rant.
But do you draw the same conclusion as me? What I do is I'm watching it. I'm just thinking they're all, if you excuse my French, pissing on their own house. All of them, Democrats,
Yeah.
Republicans. It's like nobody's really focused on issues anymore. Everyone's focused on, demonizing the other or reacting to what the other does. It's almost like there's these two alien systems reacting to each other, whereas normal people are not part of the equation.
Okay,
I don't because the reason I don't is because I think that the things that the Republicans do and what Trump does are so absolutely so much worse. And maybe I'm falling right into that trap. But what happened with the lady that was running the Bureau of Labor and Statistics is a great example
oh, good. I'm glad
of,
you got to that one early so that we can move on.
again. Okay, there you go. I'm done with that.
Okay.
No, yes, I hear
Any
what you're
other
saying, Keith.
favorite non-cable ready discussions that we want to have? I mean, what else is new? So what? The Democrats do nothing. The Republicans are disgusting. What else is new?
I think the biggest new thing is Microsoft losing their monopoly in developer infrastructure to the AI companies. Microsoft bought GitHub, really was a monopoly from the developer point of view, and they've put a Copilot in there which no one uses. It's actually quite good as of last week, but no one uses it, and everyone's using Claude Code or Cursor or these other tools that are new, sitting on top of Microsoft's biggest blunder, which is they open sourced visual code. So everyone's using visual code, building their own wrapper on top of it, and then building their AI into it, and is winning in a fight against GitHub, which owns visual code. It's
How did
kind of
their
crazy.
stock? Why did their stock go up so high
Because they
on
they
Friday?
made $76 billion last quarter, which
Yeah.
is about 2.5 billion over the estimate. That's
Cloud
why.
revenues.
Yeah, yeah,
They
it's all Azure driven.
Azure driven cloud revenues, which is there because they did this deal with OpenAI, which is a clever deal, but it's kind of, if you're Microsoft, buying someone else's tech through a deal and making revenue from it is a very different Microsoft to the original Microsoft.
Isn't that what they did in the very, very beginning?
Not really. They bought it. They didn't license it. Well, they kind of licensed it forever,
Yeah,
exclusively.
yeah.
And with OpenAI, they have got an exclusive license. Like Amazon can't put OpenAI into the Amazon cloud. Google can't put it into the Google cloud. So they have got an exclusive license. So you're right, there is some crossover there in approach.
Yeah, but Azure is roughly now like $120 billion business unto itself.
Yep.
And I mean, it's to the point where Amazon AWS, I think they grew about 11 to 12% year over year. and they got kind of laughed at because Azure, or they call it the intelligent cloud business, I guess, that grew at 39%. And I mean, it's a unto itself, it's a $120 billion company if you look at it like that. And that's why they're where they are. And even when they make mistakes like what you just outlined, Keith, they're just printing money because of Azure. And of course, a lot of people are building on top of that.
All right, so let me ask a question, which is um, to all the legions of people out there listening and watching. Uh, what good is this information to them? Are they going to gain any insight or, God forbid, get a job in this economy based on the information you're talking about?
Of course, some people are going to make out great. I'm
Well,
guessing the majority of people
let me
aren't, but
hear who do you think those people are? Because I
the people who are able to
I
keep up
disagree.
on the people who are able to keep at the top of the of the bleeding edge, they'll figure out some way to make money off of it. They always do. Now, the mass of the people probably are not going to do as good, but there's always winners and losers in everything that goes on.
Well, there is one thing, Steve, which is the future value of OpenAI, Perplexity, and Anthropic, which I think are the big three.
Right.
The future value of those three compared to the current value of those three, they're all much smaller than Microsoft right now in terms of value. I think Microsoft's, is it
They
getting
crossed
towards,
4 trillion this week because of the earnings.
do they meet? So they
Yeah.
reached 4 trillion.
Yeah.
Um, you know,
So
OpenAI is raising money at,
What,
who's
400
I'm not
billion?
excluding the
No,
venture.
four.
Who's making the money? Somebody watching this show, they're gaining some insight that's going to materially
well, all the,
impact
yeah,
on
all
them
the,
and their family. I
yeah,
doubt it.
all they'd have to do is go to any of the secondary stock sites like Forge Global or Seta VC, or there's lots of them, and buy some shares in OpenAI, Anthropic, or Perplexity at current prices from sellers, which you can do. And I'd say there's a 10 to 100x uplift in the next 5 years on any of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be right back. Are you asking the question, Steve, as big as the answer we just got from Keith, which is, like you
Well,
invest
I
in
mean,
this thing, or you want to know about what regular people are going to get out of AI?
no, I want to know what regular people are going to get out of listening to this discussion.
Not a damn thing, but we're okay with that.
Agreed. Okay, so we're on the same page.
No, you know what? I'll tell you something that regular people in a very specific industry can get out of AI, which we could discuss if anybody cared to. I was talking to a friend of mine who's an editor. He does commercials editing, and he is deep into and this is a really high quality manual editor who I say manual. He works on using the tools, the computer tools that are available out there, and I think he uses Premiere, as a matter of fact, Premiere Professional. But he also has a layer on top of that of AI, which he claims gets the work done in a much quicker way, but it doesn't work good for him unless he controls it, which means that he as an individual has learned how to use AI in a way that helps him in his business, gives him a better product in the end. Yet it's not just AI, it's AI that is manually controlled by him. So I think that that's helpful for people to understand that there are ways that AI can be used not to take your job, but to help your job.
I think that's the archetypal current use of AI.
Yeah.
It's it was originally called Copilot, but as a generic term, not as the Microsoft brand. And I think Copilot is still the dominant way. But I will say recently I've noticed
Agent now.
with a tool called Claude Code that it's gone beyond Copilot. I mean, now with a single prompt, you can actually complete an entire task without being asked to get involved again after that initial prompt. So it's called one-shot prompting. And the AI is getting so good at those specific tasks. In my case, it's coding, but it could easily be image creation or video creation, one shot, as in one prompt, and you get your output. Then it's up to you whether you want to fine tune it by subsequent prompts.
Mhm.
Is already super good.
So
Really.
the suite that he's using is something called Runway ML.
Yeah, Runway's well known. Well known. It's very good, and it doesn't interact with Adobe Photo Premiere. I don't think it's like a separate process, but you can manually make it work with Premiere as you go back and forth.
I think that's what he's doing.
And by the way, I think Adobe is dead. I hate to tell your friend this, but I think Adobe's dead because their AI is limited by their desire to keep your $700 a year subscription.
That'll kill him.
And do you realize, well, if you look at like a PDF file in Acrobat, and it puts in their little AI agent, and you use it once, and then you try to use it again, and then it pumps up this little price. If you want unlimited access to you got to pay a monthly subscription. I mean, as you see, their stock price is like gone nowhere the last year
Yeah.
because people are saying they don't have their AI strategy remotely together. And then you
Yep.
see Figma coming out, and yeah, Adobe's. It's kind of weird to say they have some serious issues, but they really do.
Yeah.
Well,
What's Apple doing though? I mean, we had a long conversation
Still,
about that a couple
still
of
trailing.
Well, I think it's easy to say that Apple's behind because they haven't got their own AI. But the reality is the iPhone's so far ahead and it has every AI. So I don't think Apple's threatened at all. I think they can play wait and see and
Yeah,
not
I
suffer.
agree with that. Also, I watched or listened to most of your uh, That Was the Week show before, in preparation for today. In fact, I am now so prepared that I really don't even want to do this. But what was good about it?
We could just put my show on a stream and just.
Well, that's what I'm about to suggest. I'm going to short circuit a lot of the conversations that I listened to already on your show by saying this is a really good show, and let's not repeat it.
No, I agree. Well, nothing
We
I
don't
said.
need two copies of a good show. We need.
well, but if you
Yeah.
haven't seen it, it's new to you.
Nothing I've said so
But I don't.
far.
It's not new to me, and I'm the Gillmor.
Nothing I said so far was in.
We need
That
a
Was the Week,
T-shirt
by
for
the way.
that. We need a T-shirt for saying "I'm the Gilmore." Get Steve one of those T-shirts right now. I'm the Gilmore.
Yeah.
Get it printed up.
And I'll have I'm the Gilmore
So
too.
I am.
Yeah. Where are those T-shirts, by the
and
way?
she's the Gilmore too, so she can poke me in the side like she's trying to do, but it's not going to work. I'm going to shut this down.
Wait, you're not going to shut me down. I want to answer.
No,
the
I'm
question.
going to shut
Wait,
down
I want, okay, that's-
the content of
I want
Keith's show
that's fine.
because it's
One-
better than this one is.
the question though.
Well, I don't know. I didn't talk about Microsoft or Adobe on my show.
No, that's not true.
Here's what I was hearing though from you when we're talking about Adobe, we're talking about Microsoft, talking about Apple. It's the dare I say, I don't want to call it old guard, but I mean, these are the companies that have been rocking and rolling our industry for a long time. And it feels like maybe they're not able to or they didn't want to get into this early enough, and that there are other companies that are just leapfrogging over everything and just landing in AI period, and they're cruising. Is that?
Well, I don't think Apple is in any worse shape. In fact, I think it's in better shape than Meta, Microsoft, Amazon. Probably, I would say probably Google is in better shape than Apple because it got the pain early and has reacted, and let's see how that plays out, but it's certainly in the game. But Apple is not in worse shape because ultimately the winner is going to own the user experience. And I think Apple is not losing the users at all.
Mhm.
Well, this is why I said I agree with you. Now, I really don't want to have the same discussion on this show.
No, that
Yeah,
was
I agree.
me.
Yeah, I don't really want to have
Mhm.
this
Well,
discussion.
okay, I don't know which way I'm supposed to look at you, but
That's all right. So what
I will
else?
say
Anything
that
else?
Andrew Keane reacting to me, you four reacting to this conversation could not possibly mirror what the that was the week experiences. It's going to be a totally different show because of you.
No, that's correct. That's correct. So what else? Uh, does anybody else have anything to say about AI?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Last week, your fearless leader came out with what is the America AI strategy for leading innovation forever in AI.
Yeah, not
Anybody?
my leader.
Well, you can say that because you're sitting in London or UK. So, um, and did anybody check it out? I mean, it did come out and is focused on something everybody says is extremely important, which is AI in America continuing to have its leadership position in AI based on what he wants to do. So I thought maybe there'd be some discussion on that.
Did you read it?
I
I
watched
read it.
the whole thing is on video on YouTube, and I watched it. It's really worth watching because
I just watched. I read the document. I didn't watch his speech or whatever.
well, his speech was rambling and meaningless.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I watched the commentary of everyone involved afterwards. And some of the speeches were more substantive, like J.D. Vance's, and the economic speech was more substantive. But they covered three areas. They covered regulation in AI. Broadly speaking, the headline news there is less regulation, the better. Then they covered AI and
But
wokeness. And with AI and wokeness, they said it's okay to be woke, but if you do that, the government isn't going to purchase from you.
they didn't use the term work. It was woke. It was DEI, wasn't it?
Well, I think that both terms were used, but it was
Yeah.
mainly wokeness. It's as in
Such a
pre-programming your AI to have certain hard-coded points of view. Um,
Or just facts, some facts.
they didn't talk about facts. That's more of a political narrative over the top of it.
Not
Wait a
appropriate.
minute. And wokeness is not a political term
You know,
used
I really
around.
thought we were starting
I I know
to
it's
walk
such a
away from.
stupid term. It's just
I thought it
ridiculous.
was going
Anyway,
away,
it doesn't
Brent.
matter.
I
That's
really.
I'm just reporting the fact that they signed a thing to do with that.
Yeah, I know. I just hate that term.
And what was the third one?
Well, the third one is actually two things. So that's the document pointed out the three things. That's like four because he lumped diplomacy and security together like they're in lockstep with each other. Which, first of all, diplomacy in this administration, okay, if you want to go for that one. But yeah, it was innovation, the one you just talked about, and then it was diplomacy and security all in one thing,
Yeah.
which made absolutely no sense to me.
Well,
Well,
unless they applied it to Gaza.
I think their framing, and this is led by David Sachs, the framing is completely wrong. Their framing is that AI is a nation state based race with a single winner.
Yes, winner
And
takes all. Like, yeah,
and the America has to win. And therefore, China's going to regulate everything, so we're not because regulation slows everything down, which is basically not true. China isn't barely regulating anything. And the Chinese AIs, by the way, like Kimi K2 is fantastic. Manus is fantastic. The one that came out last week, Quen 3 Coder, is fantastic.
We're getting into your show again.
Well, I'm just saying the framing that this is a nation state based race with a single winner, which is the overarching view that everything is pushed through, is not true.
right. And
Well,
how
and
can
is it not true, or can it not be true?
It cannot be true because it's a bit like nuclear power or nuclear weapons. Even the science is known and can be used by everyone. And so the only thing to stop people using the science is force. And no one's going to use force to stop AI. So
oh,
scientists are going to do what scientists do, and they're going to do it everywhere.
but
Shall we play a game?
it's so contradictory because, like Keith said, they want to talk about basically America being not only the winner but the only winner. And how can you have that and then talk about diplomacy? Because there's no way you can have only one winner in something as huge as this and expect the diplomacy to be a part of this whole thing.
So that's a
Makes
very
That's
good,
not Vin.
that's
That's
a
not very
good question,
diplomatic.
Brent. That's a very good question. What's the answer?
you got
Why
to
are you paying attention to this?
Wow, because it's basically the thing that's going to be the biggest, potentially have the biggest impact on all our futures in the not so distant future.
What Trump says, this
No, this whole the whole AI issue, because it's not just a business issue. It's a
that's like saying, that these computers, they're really going to have an impact. Absolutely.
well,
But
yeah, but if you read the document, you see how they, as Keith said, they make it so generally speaking that all right, in order for us to maintain our league, throw out any regulation. We're not going to be, well, say the term diplomacy, and we're going to blame, if we're not doing as best as we can, we're going to blame it on DEI and climate change. Basically, that's the very high level summary view of this document.
Isn't that the playbook for like anything that they do?
Basically, yes.
and you're listening, and evidently
Well,
you're reacting. You like to yell back at the TV?
Yes.
Only if he yells
Especially
back.
during sports games.
Yeah.
So
But I
Frank,
mean, I think
that's
it's
your
very,
business,
I
Frank,
think it's very
yelling at
important.
the TV.
Because I did there was this really great video on YouTube with I think it was Peter, is either Peter Diamandis with his moonshot thing, or actually some higher education organization where they invited the author of this new book that kind of takes a deep dive into how OpenAI is putting their plans for the future AI together. And one of the things that really stuck out to me, and I even made a little clip and put it on one of our shows, is that the author says this lack of regulation, when you put it in the context of what needs to happen in order for to have enough power to actually run all this AI stuff, is a lot of these data centers need to be cooled by fresh water. They can't use like that, that rough water because it'll corrode some of the technology. So it has to be used in these data centers are used cool, fresh, cool water. So much so that if you use as much as this technology needs, it'll start taking away from the fresh water that humans need. And
Yeah,
so,
and
it,
particularly Democrats.
well,
well, it doesn't.
Ah,
I think Republicans drink fresh water too,
They're
but
they're coming after our water.
they're coming after a lot of this stuff because
they're coming
in,
after our pets.
in order to actually generate
Um,
this stuff, and especially if you don't have any regulations, the technology gets put in front of the people at some
So,
point.
but isn't this the first? It's interesting thing is what this thing was called is winning the AI race, America's AI action plan. So that's exactly what you were saying there, Brent. But it seems to me that this is almost like a an executive order. Like this is like here's what we want to do, and here's all the people that are going to be playing in this sandbox. Now let's go out and do it. There's no regulation because of this document, is there? It seems to. I mean, I'm asking the question naively.
There's a commitment to not regulate.
Yeah,
which
regulation
is
is like a four-letter word.
it's
in
a
this.
Well, so
policy.
this document, which feels like it's trying to regulate no regulation, then.
Yes, it's trying to create roughly the same as the internet era, which is go for it, do your best. That was the early internet. There were all these conversations, for example, around porn and the impact on kids, but there was nothing was. It didn't take. It took a very long time before there were any regulations covering those things, and the internet was built by then. So I think they're right. By the way, I applaud that. But I do think the more interesting discussion isn't being discussed, which is what do the Democrats think about AI?
Haven't heard.
Exactly. The Democrats are
Ooh,
focused on gerrymandering in a week where this huge AI policy was rolled out and haven't got anything to say about it.
Mhm.
Well, there was.
I think that's intelligent on their part.
I don't know if
The
I don't know
problem that the
about that.
Democrats have is that everything is off the table. They don't really want to talk about anything.
No, I think the real issue was look at just the last week or 10 days. You had the Epstein stuff, or was it Epstein or Epstein? I can't remember. So that took up how many parts of the news cycle? Then, in order to try to distract from that, Trump has thrown out all sorts of stuff from making the Washington football team try to make them change their name back to what it was in order for them to get money, or to have his wife's name be put in place of the Kennedy Center. So it's supposed to be the Melania Center. Every day he's coming out with these weird, crazy, ridiculous ideas. And unfortunately, that's what the media gravitates towards. So while he's dumping this plan, this AI plan last week, we don't get to hear anything about it because all this other crazy nonsense is going on.
Yeah, it's very hard to fight against the fact that he said he moved 2 nuclear subs close to Russia, when in fact the nuclear subs are always close to Russia.
But it also tells you that reaction as a strategy is what Trump wants. He throws out all these softballs.
Which is why I don't want to redo your show again.
I didn't talk about that on my show.
No, I'm just saying that I would like some new information to surface beyond the lashback at Trump's strategy of just throwing shit up against the wall.
Yeah.
Which has been bedeviling us and causing, global depression now, for emotional depression.
Let's do it. Let's do a poll.
Okay, go ahead.
Is Ghislaine Maxwell going to be pardoned?
No.
I think she just got what she was wanting, which is a
minimum security,
more cushy. Yeah.
She's just trying to avoid being assassinated. And I think that that's understandable. I think we all are in that position.
I think this puts her in more danger than less danger.
You do?
Well,
Yeah, because it's a less strict environment than the one she was in.
I haven't followed.
She's
I
hiding.
haven't followed what's going
it's
on
a-
there. So
it's
what's the
about-
headlines about what she did? I mean, what she's done in the last 2 weeks.
She's threatened, people who hold any kind of information with revealing it in return for a pardon that she's not going to get. That's what she.
I don't know. I'm not sure about the pardon part. It really depends
If you
on
listen-
what information she's holding. 'Cause,
If you listen to some of the
listen.
people who are victims or representing victims, she's not going to get pardoned.
Oh, the parents of
Yeah.
they're just
Pay attention to victims. I think that
No, he's a Democrat, so he actually pays attention to what's going to keep him in power. And I don't think that he's far more.
I don't know that he won't pardon her. He may. I think that's definitely
Okay,
within
so
the realm of
there's the poll.
possibility.
There's the poll. What
And-
you think? Yes,
No,
she will be pardoned.
I
That's one.
I think
Okay, anybody
I
else?
think it's possible.
I think he wants to, but I think he also is seeing how this whole thing has been backfiring on him, trying to ignore it or trying to push it down because it's his base are the ones that are still mad at this. So if he pardons her, what is that going to do to the base who's already mad about this stuff?
I agree completely.
Yeah.
So you're saying no, it's not going to happen.
I'm saying he wants to do it, but I don't think he can do it.
Right. I'm talking about actual outcome.
Yeah, I don't think he'll do it.
Now that's what if we only had a computer, we could actually, put this up on here.
or AI. We could ask this for the AI to.
All right.
ask.
So Keith, what do you think?
Well, don't trust what I think because I haven't paid. I consider this as part of what in a broad category gossip, and I'm totally disinterested in it. But that said, my guess is that whatever benefits Trump will happen. And I don't know what benefits Trump. So I don't know if he benefits from pardoning her.
But it's a simpler question.
Well-
Is he going to pardon her or not?
To answer that, I'd have to know if it benefits him, and I can't judge. But so I'll say yes because that seems the least likely, and he always does the least likely.
That's it. You know what? It probably would benefit him because it would keep her quiet because she knows where all the bodies are buried.
No, she.
But based on based on the
I don't think
truth,
she does. I don't think
you
she.
don't. I think she does. I think she knows everything.
I
You-
think
again, if you listen to
I.
Steve,
Yes.
if you listen to the victims' families,
Yes.
they credit her with being worse than Epstein. They credit her with doing, all the dirty work. She's very culpable, and she is, I just don't. I don't think that I think that we're dealing with somebody who can would love to get out of prison. We just what we don't know right now is, our government has not released these files. Why?
Because they never will.
Why?
Because
Because
Trump's all over him.
if Trump's not in them to any, extent, why not release them? Because Trump's all over them. There's something in there. And
Yeah.
they've known that for quite some time. And we don't know what the depth of his involvement is, but they're certainly keeping it quiet.
I'll
And
tell you something. That 3 minutes missing from that tape is way worse than anything that ever happened during Watergate.
The 18 minutes.
Well, so that's an interesting question, Frank, which is what is the crime here? Is it a cross-state, basically human procurement scheme with youngish, mainly girls, being procured for celebrities? Or is it that somebody killed Epstein, of Frankenstein, Epstein? That's how I think of it. Frankenstein, Epstein. So is it that somebody
You
killed
mean
Epstein?
Igor's friend, Frankenstein?
Because my guess is most people don't give a shit if somebody killed Epstein because they don't like him anyway. But they probably do give a shit about what happened to young girls.
Yeah.
And the
that's
fact
what
that
they
it's
run to.
celebrities is the only novel thing about it. Because I'm going to guess there's hundreds of prostitution schemes all over the US with cross-border young girls, but this one is celebrities, therefore it gets special attention.
Well, remember also they tried to somehow tie this, call it like a Pizzagate thing, where this is all about recruiting women and for and like for Democrats for eating babies, and they were going to somehow they got Hillary Clinton involved and said that she built some kind of a basement where a lot of this stuff was going
In
on.
a pizza shop in a pizza shop.
Yeah, so a lot of this is complete lunacy, but they believe that lunacy, and Trump kind of rode that surf to get a lot of those people on board for voting for him. And then, like, what was it? Only last week or a couple weeks ago, what Bondi was saying something like, "I've got all the stuff right on my desk right here." And then when they were asking her or requiring her to try to put all that stuff out in the public, all of a sudden there was no photo,
Stuff.
there was no book of stuff.
there was no file on her
Yeah.
death.
There's no list. There's no file.
And those folks want to have the names because they really believe that all that crazy stuff was going on.
Okay, hang on a second. No, hang on.
Have the names.
Hang on. I want to button up the
What the names did.
I want to button up the poll so that I can sleep well tonight.
Ooh.
How many people raise your hand if you think she's going to get pardoned? I see nobody here.
I'm on the fence, so I'll raise my hand just so one of them.
Okay, excellent. Thanks.
I don't think so, but it certainly wouldn't surprise me. But I don't think ultimately
Okay,
she'll get pardoned.
so-
I think she just got what she really, really wanted, was a different environment.
So in other words, zero with
Yeah, but the question about that though, Tina, is if she got it, what does she got to give for what she got?
Information.
She doesn't have to do anything. All Trump
She's-
wants
Is
is
her, is
is
her to
noise.
keep quiet? Yeah.
Trump
Yeah.
just wants the discussion. He
Yeah.
doesn't care.
No, but if she came out and said Trump was just not a player in this scene,
That's not enough. These folks want to actually see the
And
documents.
nobody will believe that if
see the document.
that's even if it's true. what
Yeah.
you said, Keith, nobody will believe it.
to read the file, whatever the file.
I mean, some of those guys that he actually put into his administration, that Bongiorno dude, he basically built his podcast audience on all that ridiculous stuff.
Even
Yeah,
Joe Rogan is going
I mean,
against him, for
Joe
God's sakes.
Rogan has been an impressive figure in the last week.
Said
What's
no
he
one
done?
ever before that.
What's he done, Steve?
What he's completely switched from being a supporter of everything that he said up until this week.
And
Because they backtracked
because of
on,
it.
yeah, because they
Yeah.
backtracked on releasing everything.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
As you already made that point.
Does anyone believe this could be a poll? Does anyone believe
Oh no,
that this conversation has any impact on politics, no
I'm
matter what the
boycotting this.
outcome is?
No, I'll tell you, the only thing this
Oh.
conversation might do is keep somebody from crossing a border going back into America.
Yeah, why would we want to go there?
You think that's going to solve the
Hey,
problem?
you know what? I'm tired of this conversation. I want to ask a question that goes back to the AI thing, if that's okay.
I will allow that.
All right.
Thank you. So I just got this note, and maybe I'm way behind on this and don't know about it, but does everybody know about Apple creating an internal answers, knowledge, and information AKI team to build a Chat GPT style answer engine that will power search in Siri and Spotlight and Safari?
Sure. Why not?
That would have been a great thing to do about 5 years ago. But yeah, why not?
The move reverses Apple's earlier stance against chatbots and signals its bid to stay competitive as AI reshapes how people look up information online. So I guess what they're saying is they want Safari to be an AI search engine.
It's funny how they did that after Perplexity announced their browser, and companies like Zoho have created their own browser because they see how this AI stuff is kind of gonna reshape everything about how we look for information and how we do things. And the browser,
Oh yeah, it's going to
gonna be-
reshape it into like
it's
what?
already being reshaped.
Yeah,
What
it
was
is. And
the-
this, by the way, this was a
the browser that he built.
Who?
Andreessen. He was the
Netscape?
original author. Yeah, eventually.
This story broke 3 hours ago, by the way, just so
Mosaic
you know.
originally.
Yeah.
Mosaic.
Oh yeah, Mosaic. Yeah, that's right.
Thank you. So to Keith's point earlier, so what? This is already, Apple is not behind. This is media. This is no, they're not.
They're behind in what anyone can use. They're behind in what anybody can just like tap into.
I'm not buying an Android. Thank you.
I don't.
What do you mean anything to use? I've got one. You've got
I'm
one.
saying that Apple.
The whole family has got these damn
You
iPhones.
can't go to some AI site that Apple runs and work with it.
But you don't need
That's
to.
just not true.
The fact that you can use OpenAI, Perplexity, Anthropic on Apple,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. There's no negative.
When the App Store, remember how when Steve Jobs announced that there was this, there was going to only be authorized apps, through the App Store. It was even before the App Store, and that happened, didn't it? No, it didn't happen. What happened is they went through the web portal. And that's the world that we now see that Apple is in charge of.
Apple has the platform for it to run, but they're not the ones making the actual AI products. I mean, they should have been, but they haven't. So yeah,
I understand.
That's the
your
important part of
opinion.
this.
I just don't agree with you.
But no, I would want Brent to justify that they should have been, because I'm not convinced they should have been.
Well, if you look at the stuff that all the components they had going back to what, 2011? Well, I guess 2007 with the phone, and then Siri, and then the iPad, and then the MacBook Pros, and all these different devices. They're a great device company. They had the marketplace for the app exchange, or whatever they call it. So they're good at certain things, and they had a lot of information they could have been using to actually build an AI LLM and train it. They just didn't do it. They were doing cars, and they did the Vision Pro thing, which was a giant nothing burger. I mean, they did the watch with all the health information too. They should be the ones leading this as opposed to following down.
They are leading.
They're not leading AI.
I'll
And
give you
and
I'll
the,
give
the
you the
Nothing Burger that you talked about is the
Vision Pro.
first version of the operating system for this entire strategy.
I can give you the count.
$3,500 a pop? No thanks.
Brent, I'll
No,
give
it's
you
going to be how much do you pay for your iPhone? It's about 100 a month, right?
All right. I 100 a month. No, I
Yeah,
paid off my iPhone. I don't pay
right.
for
But
it.
when you were paying for it,
I always pay the phone.
you
I
still were
don't want to pay
buying
it.
when one was still buying the latest iPhone. How much did it cost? It went from about 50 a month to about 75, and then people stopped buying them.
Yeah, wait till the tariffs kick in.
Yeah, exactly. And wait until the functionality of the machine is all in the cloud, which is what, so-called Apple Intelligence is about.
let
I
me add
still
one dimension here. If you look at Meta as the anti-Apple strategy, Meta's investing billions in AI,
right,
but Meta doesn't own a user interface through a device.
right.
And Zuckerberg's entire
Well, they have the
frustration,
glasses, I guess. They have those glasses that
well,
people seem to like too, by the way.
the glasses and the 3D thing are evidence
Yeah, that
that
Google Glass really have.
Zuckerberg understands that owning the interface for users is the key, and that having the biggest open source LLM is meaningless unless you own the users. Apple owns the users. They could switch on an AI 2 years from now and within 3 months own the whole space
Why haven't they done it? They could have done it
because
two
they haven't
years
got
ago.
they don't have the tech.
They don't have the expertise internally to recognize what this AI stuff would could have been and what it is going to be
But they're not the
until
only
like
one.
right now.
Neither do Microsoft. They had to
Well, they
partner.
partnered with
Neither do
OpenAI. Like,
Amazon.
well,
Neither
Emma,
does Meta really, because Llama isn't that great. So actually, Apple's in good company. They've all failed.
well, I would
The winners
say,
are OpenAI and Anthropic.
well, I
Perplexity.
think right now, but I think the long term winners. I think you mentioned Google because look at all the different platforms that they own that at least a billion people use regularly.
I wouldn't bet a nickel on Google being the long-term winner.
I don't think there's going to be just one long term winner. I think there's going to be a couple, and I have a strong thought that when you control about eight or nine different applications which billions of people use daily, creating all sorts of different kinds of information. I just did this thing. This look at the YouTube 20-year anniversary document they put out. Do you realize that a billion hours every day are consumed just by watching YouTube videos? That people create over 200 billion YouTube views for just the YouTube shorts? And then you look, and that's just the video stuff. We got to look at, and then the one of your favorite things is the YouTube TV with the multi-view. All those are experiences creating data. Then you look at Gmail and you even look at search and you look at what they're doing with all these other things. I can't find another company that really has that depth and breadth of data that's consistently coming in daily, almost hourly.
The only
Then they
problem
are.
with it is that their entire revenue model is being disrupted by all this stuff that you're talking about.
Guess what? They already know what's going on too. And
No, I mean, Microsoft's trying to buy their way back in to having missed all of this.
I think Apple is gonna have to do some of that too, because they missed a lot
They
too.
have been doing it.
That's what I'm saying. That they need to continue to do it because they didn't have it internally to actually go deep. They
Uh, that to me is a press analysis, the last thing you said, that doesn't correspond with the reality.
I would
Mm.
say one thing about Google. I think the winner here ends up owning the consumer experience because I think AI will be 4 billion people using it ultimately,
Now,
or maybe more.
that's
So
why that's why what's super important is the financial battle that's underway right now for the so-called AI browser. And
Well, I
and the
use
fact
the
that let me finish my point.
please.
Thanks.
You're
The
welcome.
the fact that none of these players, not OpenAI, not Anthropic or whatever they're called, none of them are actually doing anything other than going for the $300 or $200 a month fee to a consumer market, which, as I think both you, Brent, and everybody I think on this call uh, understands intuitively is that the consumers are going to dominate. You have to actually engage with the consumers. And what's going on right now in the so-called leadership of the AI community is they're all running away from it
You
because
I
know,
I don't
I
think they're
think it's
running
got
away
the
from it.
money,
no.
they haven't got the money to support it. And so this is becomes like a Trump flywheel of bullshit.
You
While we
know,
wait for
can
somebody
I
to
let
do
me
it.
say I
I
use
know what they want to do, and I want them to do it. I would like a browser inside that essentially replaces Chrome or sits on top of Chrome, which is what will happen, and which will speaks to Brent your perceptions about all of the flywheel of data that's coming off this, which will inure to Google's benefit. But what I don't want to have to wait for 6 months or a year for them to drop the price from 200 a month to really zero, but let's call it 20 a month.
I
That's
think
that's the sweet spot with the
look.
consumers, and everything else is bullshit right now.
If the consumer doesn't necessarily know what it is they want, they're just getting it, and they're getting it. For example, if they're using Chrome as their browser on their iPhone, they're already using AI,
on
and
on that platform that everybody has at their disposal, right?
ex- the Apple
It's on the it's on
platform
yeah, it's on
is
the Apple platform, right?
you choose to use Chrome, it's on the Apple platform.
I want
It's
I want the AI browser to allow me to, when I drag a file, like what Brent you talked about the last time we were recording a couple months ago or whenever that was. Uh, and basically does an auto transcript. It knows who everybody is and it spits it back to you. And the only limitation that I saw in that, other than the ridiculous cost that immediately was attached to it, was the hour uh, limitation in terms of content.
Well,
That's
I think
what I want. I just want that. I don't want any of this other stuff. I want a version of essentially HyperCard or Visual Basic or VBA with a recording capability that when I do something, if I do it twice, it sets it up as a macro so that I can do it again automatically.
But I think part
Even
of what's
just
going on is when you talk about everybody's going for the $200 and kind of or selling something at $200 a month. Part of that is because until they get this power consumption issue solved, that power is a really precious resource. And one of the ways that you stem the tide of it going overboard is to price it at such a point where not everybody's going to want to pay it. And that allows them a little bit more time to figure it out because that's the biggest bottleneck for everything right now is power consumption.
Well, I
And
don't disagree with you about as a bottleneck, but as a mediating factor in the uptake on this, I totally disagree with you. This is going to get blown past in the next 2 months by probably an alliance between Google and Microsoft.
That was the other Trump conference announcement, which is deregulating, or at least making it easier to build these micro nuclear fission stations that are now super safe and small, and therefore you can
And
implement one
closer to
quickly.
China now, right? Yeah.
No, but I think that's a good move. I support nuclear completely. I think it's great.
Yeah, until it screws up.
Well, I don't think it will. Scientifically, it's not really possible with the latest technologies.
by the way, I think if you want to go I don't know if it's lack of no regulation or very, very limited regulation. You better be prepared for the unintended consequences of that.
Yeah.
Because if you, once again, if all of a sudden we're using AI to use up all the fresh water or things that are really meant for humans, what's going to happen when there is going to be a uprising for people who are, and it's usually going to be the poor people who are always stuck with the stuff that goes on. How are you going to deal with that uprising for
Yeah,
people who
Yeah,
instead
don't?
and
that's
don't
a
even
really
think
good
about
question.
when the machines take over.
In my case, I'm forming the Vanguard Party to help lead it.
I do, I do.
I don't. That went over my head, Keith.
It's call Leninism, Brent.
Oh,
Oh, he's
okay,
trying to make a joke about something that he's serious about.
It's like,
okay.
I do have it's something that I sort of ponder about AI, in the future. Maybe it's the near future, maybe it's the longer
How about
road,
Thursday?
but whatever. But you know, I've seen, just within our lifetimes and just in our lifetimes of tech, that as humans we've started doing things, our brains have started working differently. Our memories or our what we can recall is a little different, maybe due to technology. I'll give you one example. I don't remember anyone's phone numbers anymore, right?
Right.
Because we don't have to. So when we bring AI more into our lives, what do we forget? What won't we be doing anymore? What won't our brain be able to analyze? So I get a kind of a icky feeling about it. And I don't know, I'm not saying like, oh gosh, humanity is doomed or something, but I just wonder, how are we going to combat that? Because I do see that if we don't have to learn how to navigate a road anymore. We don't have to use maps. We don't have to go stop at a gas station and ask for directions. We've got everything there. So
I just ask you.
my kids don't know the name.
She looks at her GPS.
Exactly.
My kids don't know the names of streets. They don't know to look for a landmark when you're, driving. They follow the technology. So there are certain things that their brain it's not clicking, right? So I just
Tina,
wonder how
the
that's
brain is very good at only remembering important things, and
right.
increasingly, the things that we used to think important, you can now take for granted, and that's what they're doing. They're taking for granted they don't need it because they don't. So the brain will focus on what's needed, and that'll be new stuff. And the new stuff we don't even do. Our generation doesn't even do it because we never had to. So I think the brain is certainly the human brain was not made for math. Computation is way better than the human brain at math. So why would you use the brain for something it's not very good at?
I used to say that through every one of my calculus classes.
But
Did it work?
I get that.
No, but I think your point though, Tina, is really smart.
Yeah.
Because absolutely everything you said is 100%
I
true.
totally agree. What was it you said? I can't remember.
But Keith makes a good point too. The brain adapts.
Actually, there was something that just came out, Wall Street, an MIT study. They said they did a first time study on people who used ChatGPT extensively over time versus non-ChatGPT users, and they are saying they said the MIT's first brain scan study of ChatGPT users revealed shocking results. Like people are forgetting to do stuff that they used to be able to do with while like walking and talking and doing
like
it in their sleep.
writing.
Yeah. So it's already, and just think, I mean, ChatGPT hasn't been out on what, not
Right.
even 3 years, and
But the
they're
same study, Brent, shows that the ones who use it outperform the ones who don't.
That's true, but they also are ending up forgetting a lot of stuff that they used to know without having to
But
worry
they're
about.
forgetting things
But
they
what
don't care
about
about.
here?
It's okay to like. I don't remember people's names. Why? Because why would I? I don't really ever going to meet those people again.
He
Wow.
has no respect for anybody. Why would he even?
But
Introduce
so
myself.
listen, George, I was just thinking, I,
Who's George?
Oh,
oh God. Uh,
No,
anyway,
ooh.
please don't quote the Fire Saint Theater.
No, but I
We're
think
like
it's okay. It's
No.
hey,
okay to
Paulo,
forget
he
things.
shot the president.
It's okay to forget things. Here's the amazing thing. You can now do things you never learned. So you're forgetting things you don't need, but you're also
I've been doing that for years, Keith.
I
exactly.
always think I do things I didn't learn.
Well, now you can do even more things you never learned. It's amazing what you can do that you never learned. So the average human is so much better off.
Okay.
I posted that story on the chat about Apple. And I also posted a little piece of video that I created on
What do
Perplexity.
you mean on chat?
On the
Our on the chat in this.
You mean the one that's not available to anybody? That only
Yeah, just the
London
one
Love.
that just
yeah,
ours.
which disappears after the show.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so go copy it, and I also put in a video that I created of the Radis files on a red bus driving down.
Yeah, that's
around,
fantastic. That thing looks so real.
it's so crazy. A lot of people
No, it
said
looks really, really good. I
people
thought it
have
was
said
real.
to me,
I
"How
said,
did
"Why
you
did
pay
get
for
that?"
that?" My God, that's expensive. It
I
cost me
use,
nothing.
yeah, I use that to create a little intro for a couple of our shows, and it looks, that stuff is getting really good.
Listen, there's this incredible science fiction show that is being done completely on AI, which I posted on my Facebook page. It's unbelievably good. It's well done. It's well
Yeah, I
edited.
get I get it.
It's funny.
Yes.
It's sci-fi. It's like, come on.
Hey, Keith, what is this browser? Can you tell us what you just gave us access to?
So there's two AI browsers that are making headlines. One is the Comet browser from Perplexity, which I have got, and this is Dia, which is I'd say a little bit further ahead than Perplexity's browser. So Dia is, as Steve said, it's actually a wrapper on top of Chrome. So Chrome has this open source project called Chromium.
Yep.
And anyone can build using that. And they've built a user interface, an AI user interface on top of Chrome. You can import all your Chrome profiles into it. So right away, it knows who you are and all your different profiles. Like I've got 4 different profiles for different jobs, including a personal one. And then the home page, the default page is an AI input box, and it has skills. So if you do a / you get skills, and skills like web crawling, for example, is a skill. You can talk to any page you're on. So let's say you're on a YouTube video, you can open up the chat window and talk just about that YouTube video, and it will get a transcript and give you a summary of it. It's very good. Things that Chrome isn't good at yet, that are AI native in how they think about how to use a browser. The Comet one, it defaults search to Perplexity, and you lose your Google search. And actually, I'm not ready to do that yet. I want both, and Dia gives you both. You can keep your Google search and do AI simultaneously.
Cool. All right.
And how much
I'll be doing that later tonight.
And how much does it cost?
Free.
Free?
It's free. I
Free?
think if you want, yeah, literally free. If you want various advanced features, you can go and pay them, but you don't have to. You can, it's pretty good for free.
You're talking about Perplexity, right?
No,
No, Dia.
DIA. I forget who owns it.
And who owns it?
He forgets.
Who owns Dia? Let me ask. Who owns?
Who owns you?
Type MG Sigler in and you'll get the answer.
Can I?
Who owns Dia?
I'd like to ask you
It's
all.
owned by the Browser Company of New York, which previously had a different browser that they closed down that people kind of liked. I remember now, it's quite controversial when they closed it down.
Ah, Biconi.
The browser company of New York. That's interesting, the fact that it's a New York company. Arc was their previous browser, ARC, and it wasn't very good. This is way more AI native.
I'd like to ask a question for you all that who have been dabbling in or dabbling or really getting into AI. If for someone, if we've got some viewers out there who have not dipped their toes into this, what's the first thing they should do? And I'm also asking about free, because I think that when people
Yeah.
are experimenting, they want that. And then what's the second step? Like, where do you go if you just don't know anything and you just say, okay, I've heard about this too much. I've got to start learning something about it. I've got to start working with it. What do you do?
Chat GPT.
I think
It explains
ChatGPT is
it.
that's the default answer to download that app. But actually, when me and Steve discussed this, I don't know, was it 6 months ago, Steve? A while ago, anyway. I said to Steve, start using Perplexity instead of
which I
Google.
did.
And I think it's a better answer
and that's
because
why it's, what is it, 5 trillion supposedly?
5 trillion.
I agree with you. I actually stopped using Chat GPT and
Tell
only
them-
use Perplexity, but Chat GPT to me was the door that I opened first.
I think that was the door that everybody opened first to all this stuff.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I'm not in it.
Is Perplexity a harder lift to just step into?
no, it's easier because it's like a search box like Google,
Mhm.
but it's conversational as well
But
as giving you results.
when the browser is fully available, that will fix the UI from my perspective.
Is Perplexity free? Is it a free level?
They have different layers, but the free level's perfectly good.
Okay.
Yeah, but don't they have a for Comet? It's
Comet, you have to be paying their $200 a month
Yeah,
plan.
to get
Ah.
exactly. Yeah.
we
But
Stay
that's
away
just
from that.
during the beta. That won't stay true.
I'm hoping that this and other shows, why don't you start a jihad on this, Keith, so that we can get this to happen, because right now we're just wasting time.
I agree. It feels like the future is already known, but nobody has given birth to it yet.
Well,
Mm.
they don't have the cards.
Yeah, but there's still a lot of
Oh,
good
God.
stuff out there. I mean, I don't
You
think
don't have the cards.
I don't think you want to wait until it's perfect.
I don't have the cards. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying disagreeing with you.
I don't think
I'm
people
lucky 'cause
generally can wait.
I can get my company to pay for subscriptions. So I'm probably spending $1,000 a month on various AI subscriptions,
Wow.
and it's accelerating my learning. I consider it worth it, and I can use it for my work. Like I've delivered so much code for SignalRank that we run the company on now that $1,000 a month feels like a small fee. But you need to have that justification.
That's how much
hey,
I spend on streamers.
Hey Keith, how has that kind of, I don't know if it has or hasn't, has that the lessen your need to hire people?
I haven't hired a single person for more than a year because of it. I'm doing the engineering work. We have a data science.
You're hiring yourself, basically.
I'm hiring myself, but the number of hours I'm writing code is probably 1 day a week. But it's supplying all of our code, and I'm not writing a single line of it. I'm just guiding it, like we were talking about earlier.
So how many people would you have had to hire if you didn't have that kind of tool?
That would easily be a $30,000 a month team in Ukraine or something like that.
How many people would that be roughly?
Probably 5 to 6.
That's a huge. See, you that justifies your 1,000 a month, like tenfold, 30-fold almost. So
30-fold.
that makes a lot of people need to start thinking of it in those terms as opposed to just the cost. I think if
Yeah,
you also look at it as how much value does it create and how much cost does it keep you from having to spend the money if you were doing the same thing, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah,
there you
I'm-
go,
I'm
Steve.
I'm not talking about that from a position of cost. I'm saying that if you add all that together and it costs $1,000 as opposed, or 200 a month, uh, if you add that all together, I still want it at a $20 level because I want to bet on what's going to win, not on what's going to lose.
Well,
I
I
think
think
you're
there's
going to get
different
it for
levels. You
free.
get, yeah,
I think
That's just
consumers
my
are going to.
opinion. I was
Here's
right
what
about
here's
RSS. I was right about XML. I've been right about a lot of these things. That's the metric that I'm observing, and I'm waiting for the lines crossing into a thing that's real.
Well, you're
Yeah,
waiting for
Steve,
that.
here's what's gonna, I'm gonna predict the near future. Today, AI only has a business model which is based on subscriptions. Google has this click-based business model, which also allows for display advertising and all kinds of other things. But at the core of it is clicks, paid clicks, being paid for by cost per action buyers. And that's most of Google's revenue. The AI universe is going to have that. The links are still valuable. And there are many people who will pay to have their links surfaced. The AI will not surface the links unless they're relevant, unlike, say, Google, which will build this block at the top. But I've got to believe that eventually this is free for you. And there will, every time you click on a link, Perplexity will get paid by, let's say, Amazon. That's what's going to happen. And I've been playing with testing out how good AI is at building business models. And I gave it this idea about 2 weeks ago called usable data. And the idea is structured data with links being available to train on for AIs, where the owners of the links get paid for the training and but they pay for the clicks. I think that's what's going to happen.
And
And you're going to end up.
I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think what's going to happen,
Reasonable.
I I think that what's going to happen is the difference between content and payment is going to be eliminated in very short order. And so the idea
What do you
of,
mean by that?
well, I'm trying to allowed to talk, will
Very
say,
loud.
thanks. Uh, trying to understand where the web uh, crosses over with the AI models that we are currently looking at, I think is a misreading of how fast this is going. It's going a lot faster than that.
Yeah, the
And
web
one
will
of the
become.
people that really understands this, uh, I hate to say it, but Donald Trump actually understands more about the speed with which this is happening than most people. And I'll explain why I think this. If you watch how he uses uh, airplane press conferences or just about any excuse to basically turn the cameras around and point them at the media, that he has shown that he can improvise on, it may be a bunch of lies or whatever, but he has control of the audience as a free environment. And that's what's going to happen with AI.
He controls the horizontal.
Absolutely.
He controls the vertical.
He really, it's like Clem, updated to today, and everybody's got one in their pocket.
But Steve, there's an interesting dilemma from a content point of view, and I think the constant isn't the web. The constant is content. There's always going to be
That's
content.
what that I agree with you. That's what I was trying haltingly to say
Sure.
is the bet is on publishing. That's
Right. Now, if you take that, timeliness of knowledge becomes really important. Like when Trump does that, if the AI doesn't know about it right away, it can't surface it. So I think
that you're in your show again, and I
no, not really. I'm just
oh no,
teeing.
absolutely. You did the last 20 minutes of it is about this, and I totally agree with what you had to say, and I don't want to duplicate it. I think it's much more powerful if people say, well, what was so good about this? I'll give you another citation. Mark Andreessen and his partner and their new employee did
Ben
a
Horowitz, and then
yeah, yeah, I don't know the guy's name. Anybody, I totally recommend this thing. Looked at for one thing only, not whether or not you agree with his political changes or any of that. Just go through it, listen to it, and tell me if you disagree with any of it.
it's called The Future of Media. It's
It's
linked in that.
just, he's just, these guys, for wherever they're coming from, I've known him a long time. So have you. Uh, this guy is not to be underestimated
You
in
know,
terms of his ability to speak across what we see now as this hard-coded partisan environment. This is
what,
not
he,
partisan.
what was
It's
interesting
not
to me there,
partisan at all.
Steve, what was interesting there to me is they really understand what a turning point TechCrunch represented.
Yes, well, they were right there. I mean, that's when I met him, and you know, I never understood. I still don't understand how he works. You know, about things that he are important to him. He's a careful person, but this video, this is why I was so astounded when Brent, basically said about what was it, Google. What was the platform that was allegedly automating this?
Gemini, Gemini
Gemini.
Pro.
I was astounded. You mean this is going to be available, in the next month? It's available today. The only person who was able to duplicate that was you, Keith, on the show.
So you just said I just did something on my phone. I typed in the future of media in the Google box, and up came everything you're talking about right now from AI as an AI overview. It's insane. I'm not kidding. If you get a chance on your phone, just type in the future of media, and it will be at the very top of your of the page.
Just
It's
as an exercise, do the same in Perplexity and ask for recent.
I don't save any links anymore. I run them through Perplexity to get their summary. And then I'll look at a glance at the summary to see if there's anything interesting, and then I'll read the source, which is what they publish. And they don't do it all the time because of paywalls, which is
But
going to be the new battlefield.
the core of that interesting thing that hit me is the importance of the individual as a publisher or the group. It could be a group, and the not having crocodile tears for old media was the other big thing.
Yeah, well, I'm so frustrated with old media that I can't stand it. And Frank's been through this. My brother has been outraged about, the New York Times. It's like, huh? Weren't you born in the newsroom at the, you know,
God,
it,
don't get me started.
well, but you are getting started, and we are very close to having, this is not the singularity. This
Mm.
is not to be afraid of. It's already, if you're afraid of it, you should have been afraid of it about 10 years ago.
I'm not afraid of it. I just said don't get me
There you go.
started. I just
It's
put in
frustrating,
our
because all of the people that you pioneered, the news with are looking like they don't have a job.
no,
They do
they
have a
don't.
job. They just don't know
Many
how to use
many
the
of them
tool.
don't. Really good ones, many of them don't. It's insane.
That reminds me, Steve, that the new Substack background conversation is all about sponsorship and advertising. Have you noticed that?
No, I don't believe it until they actually do it.
Well, it's interesting that they're having to address it now. And I think the answer to the question, how do these individuals prosper and survive, which is going to be, well, if they have talent and they're interesting, they'll get an audience.
If they can control the wrapper, which they can, they meaning us, then the question is can they entertain enough to get an audience?
Yeah.
And the audience size, as we can prove by definition right here, the audience size is irrelevant in this model.
Yep.
If you have people that do not pay by the click, then where is the information stored that tells people where to find something because they want one?
Click.
That's the economy right there.
I think the click economy doesn't yet exist in AI, but it will.
Yeah, I kind of disagree with you about that, but I think we agree about the speed with which this is happening.
Yeah.
I just I'm not convinced that what was the name of the company that decided that they were going to just buy uh, the fact that they had so many you wrote about it, you did a show about it about a month ago.
Give me the long version of what they do.
Uh, they they've appointed themselves as the gatekeeper for.
Oh, Cloudflare.
Yeah. See, I think that Cloudflare is what happens just before it's open sourced. They're not going
Yeah.
to be able to control that genie. They're not going to be able to say, "Oh, we're in charge." No,
Well,
they're incumbents.
what they can do, and this is a technical point to do with how the DNS works on the internet. What they can do is block AI crawlers and give publishers the ability to put a price on a crawl. They
Yeah,
can
but
do
when they
that.
become the bad guys, then they're not going to do that. They're going to look for an accommodation with major players like Microsoft and
Yeah,
others.
I
And
agree with you.
that's a
I
tough
think paid crawls are wrong. Paid crawls is
Exactly.
ignoring the fact that you need attention. And so if the New York Times tried to put a paywall on crawling their content, they're shooting themselves in the foot.
Well,
Absolutely
Their
right.
revenue isn't going to come from crawl
their
fees.
revenue is they're making more money than anybody else in the world.
Yeah. And it won't be crawl fees. It's
Why
going to
would they
be
kill off their own business model? They're not
right.
going to do it.
Money and audience go together, not money and crawls.
I couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah.
Okay. Uh, we've watched an incredible show. I really expected nothing from it. Uh, Tina was watching it, and the Billy Joel documentary.
Oh, I've heard all about that. Yeah.
Unbelievable
Yeah.
how, I've always, kind of liked him a lot, but didn't feel that I was a legitimate part of his aesthetic or anything. He felt uh, anyway. Uh, I did get to work with his producer,
Phil Ramone,
Bill Ramone, for a David Sanborn record,
good
and
friend.
got to be, yeah. I mean, and the sections about Phil, it's amazing that somebody like him could be so sandbagged by Billy Joel, and they both knew how it hurt him and how upset he was about it. But at the same time, it's like, Billy Joel just has this ability. He was talking about how he writes, and he says he can't do it except alone.
And he says it's painful.
And he says it's painful. And
I watched him
if you
live just
reverse
now.
engineer, if you reverse engineer this show, and I've seen it now in aggregate about 3 times, because all our
Yeah, we
Tina's sister was here, and we watched it with them. And you see his relationship with his father was so profound and so dysfunctional that he used music as a way of saving his life. And, Billy Joel. Yeah, Billy Joel.
Steve, I just saw him in one of his last concerts in Seattle live, with the son of the Led Zeppelin drummer playing drums for them.
Bonham.
And we stayed in the same hotel as him. And a member of my group who was with us, she met him in the elevator the next morning. And he apologized for his singing because he was cold and he felt like his voice couldn't reach the high notes. He's such a humble guy.
Mm.
You know, he was very, very human about his insecurity about his performance. And his performance, by the way, was fantastic.
Mm.
No one would have noticed any problem.
Mm.
Oh, you could hear it.
I,
You know, a lot of great singers, when they lose the high end, it's really hard for them.
this is one documentary that many people I know who make documentaries and are documentarians and watch documentaries and produce documentaries have said this is the perfect documentary.
Mm.
It really is stunning, and of course it's really about this guy.
Yeah.
You know, who's been a part of our lives, all our lives. And, you know, you look at Elton John and some of the interactions that they had, it's like, you know, apples and oranges.
I would
Yeah.
say though that sometimes we're comparing documentaries with people who are no longer with us. And he was a collaborator in this documentary and really was able to supply the content for Billy Joel. You know, like who is this guy? How does his mind work? You know, we were
There's a
able to ask
great,
him questions, and we don't always get that with
Yeah.
some.
He didn't, by the way, he did not want to do that with this documentary. He said that his music tells his story. And what the documentary producer said was, I want you to tell me your story, not with music.
I know, but you know,
Yeah.
you know how documentaries work. You know, you need to get
Yeah.
a skeleton to hang the
Yeah.
truth on.
Mhm.
But you need to get them calm with you so that when you're doing the interviews that you get the most out of them. And that's apparently what this woman who produced this and directed this documentary did very successfully.
I think it's two women actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So any other recommendations?
Yes.
Go ahead.
I have three. So there's this new Stephen King show called The Institute, which just grabbed me right from the very beginning. It's really good. It's on MGM. I think you can get it in America on Amazon. There's a thing called Untamed on Netflix. It stars Eric Bana, who's a really great actor. This show is superb. It's absolutely worth watching. And third, you're not going to be surprised by this. It's the second season of Star Trek: Strange New World. It's exquisite.
All right.
There was I don't care if you didn't like the musical version, if you didn't like the one that just aired yesterday, which was like a film noir thing done in the holodeck. It was spectacular. And they've got one coming up where all of the characters become Muppets. I just can't wait for that. It's just the ethos of Star Trek. There
Brent,
you go.
any further comments, Brent?
Nope, none. I'm good.
So I'm watching an old show that Jenny pointed out to me it's called Deutschland 89. It's on Sundance, but I think it's on Amazon as well. And it's basically an young East German soldier sent to the West in 1983 during the Honecker Soviet Pershing II missile crisis. It's 8 episodes. It's very well done. It's really good. And it reminded me a lot of The Americans. If you've never seen The Americans, that's about a deep embedded Russian spy sent to America and raised family in America. Also fantastic.
Mhm.
I love the fact that the Americans, that guy is what, Irish?
Welsh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We
But
just
if you liked The Americans, you'll like Deutschland 89.
we just started watching something. I'm not sure. Do you like it? Are we into it or not?
I'm not willing to commit globally to it.
What?
It's-
Frank just wants to know. The Hunting Wives. It's
Nah.
Yeah,
You know, there's this thing on
Bosch remake was pretty good.
oh yeah. Oh, that was terrific. I watched the whole thing in one day. She was
Howard?
really, yeah, that was so good. There's this and I can't remember the name of it. It's about this one old guy who was a super soldier, and he discovers a whole bunch of gold, and the Nazis find him with the gold, and then they hunt him down, and I just can't remember the name of it. It was a spectacular show. It was in a foreign language, but I watched it dubbed, which you should never do. And if I could remember that, if any of you can think of it, look for it. I think it's on Netflix. It's got a one-word name. It's just, yeah. I'm sorry I can't remember the name of it, but go look for it because it's really good.
So
If
the remake of Sex and the City is now in its last 2 episodes.
it's been canceled already too, so
Yeah, no, but there's going to be one this week and then one next week, and that's it.
and we haven't seen it.
And luckily, we've not seen any of them.
No,
yeah, it's not my cup of tea. There's not enough blood.
not your thing. Too much sex.
Yeah, cares about that.
Little.
All right. Right, Brent,
Anyway.
you're not watching anything. You're just like hoping for football to return any minute.
Well, it's returned, so
Yeah, so you're good.
What was that
Okay.
Hall of Fame thing you were talking about?
the NFL Hall of Fame show, inductee ceremony.
And who was inducted?
About 4 people.
Wow.
Yeah,
And
Hey,
it was good.
which 4?
Well, I was only there for Sterling Sharp, but oh yeah, Eric Allen from the Eagles, he was pretty good too. And
Peaceful, easy feeling.
Did
Orlando,
Sonny Jurgensen ever make the Hall of Fame?
yeah, he's been in there for a while.
Good. He
Yeah.
used to come over to our house all the time and freak out my pets.
Wow.
Yeah, he was a regular at the Radis house in Washington because he and my
Nice.
brother were good friends. I used to back in the really long time ago when the Redskins played in Griffith Stadium. My godfather was a sports writer for the Washington Post, and my brother was a football player. And we used to go down on the field. Nobody cared. We'd go down on the field and hang around with the players while the games were going on. Sonny would come up and pat me on the back and we'd chat. The next thing you know, the game would be over. He'd be at my parents' house eating dinner. Crazy time.
He's still alive. He's 90.
He is. Yeah, he is. I just saw that recently. He was a good guy, or is a good guy.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Thanks to everybody who showed up, and especially those who didn't. We'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.
chow mein. See you guys. Got to run.
Yep, me too. See ya.
Thanks.
can't hear you.